Hey guys, welcome back to episode 4 of the Words Carry Weight podcast.
Woo!
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Rachel.
And today we are talking about...
Well, we are talking about, in light of a recent return to school, self-love and self-worth academically, and how we should try not to place our value on our grades.
Yeah, and recognizing that we're so much more than the grades that we get, and that it doesn't define you as a person.
Very true. Especially standardized testing, because I know that's a very big one.
Yeah, we're taking the SATs right now, and I'm being totally honest, I keep feeling like no matter what, even when I get my score better each time, I'm still like, I can do better. I can do better. It's not good enough. Like, I'm not doing good enough at this.
To be honest with you guys, it's very random, and I don't want you to think that a test defines who you are. And this doesn't exactly, fit for everyone, but you don't have to just take an academic path in life. Like, you can take so many other paths. I have such amazingly talented friends in the arts. I have friends who paint, jaw-droppingly well. I have friends who can sing.
Trade school also is a really valuable option to take. And if getting grades, I know people in my life who just... they're not good at test taking. They get really anxious. Maybe school is just not something that they can focus on merely because they don't have the passion for it. And I know Rachel and I, we do have the passion for it, but we know people who don't. And you shouldn't just keep trying to push yourself to be an academic. Because if there's a different calling for you that is what you're supposed to do, what you excel at, what you are gonna work towards and not feel like you're being drained by it, that is 100% the path that you should pursue.
Yeah, for sure. And I also don't base my friends' intelligence on their test scores or how well they perform in school, because I have some friends who I think are insanely smart, way smarter than me, and they don't perform well on tests, and they say school is just not my thing, but that doesn't mean I think any lower of them. I still think that they're extremely intelligent.
100%. And I think that there is something to say, I'm going to get controversial, but then I'll explain it, that self-worth is shown in your schoolwork, but not about a grade you get, but about how much effort you put into it. Because you should be defining your self-worth on, did I give my all to this? Did I really try? Did I put myself out there with this assignment, project, test, whatever it is? That's where your self-worth comes from, not the grade that you get from it.
That's a good point. It's also self-discipline. Yeah. Was I lazy? Did I slack off? And that's why I didn't produce these results?
Did I not manage my time correctly?
Yeah. It's tricky. School's tricky because you can also be given the hardest subject with the most amazing teacher and do phenomenally. Yeah. Or you can get the easiest subject with a terrible teacher, and just do horribly.
We love our teachers.
I love my teachers.
I love my teachers.
I'm not gonna lie.
And we love all teachers. Just for choosing that profession.
Oh, that's very true. Right. Very true. But
disclaimer.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like in high school I got really, really lucky with my teachers.
I think I did. I think throughout my life I've had
amazing teachers.
3 or 4 that I was like, I don't like this teacher. They're not giving me my full academic potential. But other than that, yeah.
Something about high school, I thought the hype between when you went to middle school, they always said guys, high school's gonna be so much harder than middle school. You're not ready. You guys aren't prepared to be in high school. Did your middle school ever tell you that?
Oh yeah, I heard that in elementary school about middle school too.
Yeah, they always try to hype up the next grade that you're going into.
It's a good message for middle schoolers going up into high school.
Yeah, guys,
you got it.
Yeah,
you can do it.
You got it. High school has genuinely been probably the best academic experience I've ever had. My teachers are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've been amazing. I've gotten really, really lucky, but...
And even if this is also something I want to stress about giving your self-worth towards academics, is even if you don't necessarily perform well on tests, and I know people in my life where that can discourage them to really try hard in that class, it's still always important to give your full respect and attention to your teacher, because I see so many people in our school that are talking back to the teacher on the phone the whole time, not turning assignments in. I can't imagine how that would feel if that was my job and kids were treating me so disrespectfully like that. So even if you do feel a little discouraged, keep in mind that respect factor.
You know, that's actually hilarious that you just mentioned that, because today I was just observing my art teacher, because I don't have any friends in that class. So I was just watching her, and I saw she has a class of almost 50 students, and it's not a big classroom, and she was so stressed. And this is my first year ever having her, and for the last few weeks I've noticed how insanely stressed she is. And the first thing that I thought of is, this is her everyday job. She wakes up, drives over here, spends all day here, and then goes home. This is her life.
Yeah.
And we are making it stressful for her. Not me, because I don't have any friends in the class, but all the kids, she always says, guys, guys, you're stressing me out. Guys, this is very difficult. I've never had a class this big. Please keep the noise down.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to try to control 50 people, but it really made me think this is their everyday life.
Yeah.
They are so that determines her mental health, so I really feel for her, and I hope that apparently there'll be some schedule changes to help her out and reduce the class size. But a little bit off topic, but yeah, it's very important.
Tangent, but definitely an important thing to mention,
because we're going to be talking about student mental health, so let's also consider teacher mental health and respect,
empathy, right? Putting yourself in their shoes.
Definitely empathy. Do not be the person who talks back.
Oh yeah. No.
That's not. No. Definitely not. But we wanted to talk about this because I actually have a little story of something that happened to me this week.
Yes.
Which I've never had anything like this happen in my life. But academically, I do put a lot of pressure on myself. And it's ironic because I was going to take 2 extra classes this year.
Yeah.
And they didn't let me, so I only took 1, which I don't even know if I'm allowed. I think they just didn't notice.
Really?
I think they just didn't notice. But I was taking an extra class, and I got extremely sick the second week of school. And I think I almost took the whole week off of my first period, because I would wake up feeling sick, and then gradually throughout the day I would start feeling better, so I would pop into school. But it's always mornings when you're sick that I feel are the hardest.
Yeah.
So I kept missing my first period, and I fell so behind. And I've never experienced that in a class before. And I have some really big aspirations for where I want to go to college. And in my mind, I had this idea that I had to be this perfect student in order to prove that I'm good enough for that college, and that I'm good enough to get into this university. Mm-hmm. And if I do anything bad, if I even got a B, then I would be not good enough. And in my mind, I was just this is all that matters. Right now, I have to be absolutely perfect, make no mistakes, do all my homework 110% effort, just be this perfect, amazing, impossible student, and set these extremely unrealistic standards for myself in order to get where I want to be. And it did not work, because I was able to catch up in all of my classes except this one, and I could not bring myself to do it. I don't know how to describe it. I was so lethargic. And
I think we've all been there, just looking at a book, trying to study it, trying to learn, and you're just staring at words that your brain just will not absorb.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, this is the first time in my life I've ever experienced that.
Oh, really?
So it terrified me.
Many times I've experienced that, especially, this is quick tangent from what your story is, but especially if you do work late at night. This is something that I've learned.
Or like sleep deprived too.
Yeah, sleep deprived, but like at night your brain starts to shut down and I'll just be staring at words and I'm like, I might as well. It took literally until this year to learn I might as well just go to sleep and wake up early tomorrow.
Yeah, because you know what? I've also been putting in a lot of work for this nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I'm about to publish a book, y'all. So so literally, even at school, the second I finish my work, I open my laptop and I start like working on a million other things that have nothing to do with school. So taking an extra class was probably not the best idea, but I was just like thinking like unrealistic standards, having to be this better than perfect person and student. And I fell so behind. And unfortunately, science has always been very, very difficult to me. And this was a science class. And because I kind of lacked that passion in that subject, it was so hard for me to catch up. I'm in a class of like 60 kids in that class. It's a huge classroom. Wow. And because I don't know anyone, I ended up in the back right corner. My vision is already terrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't see the board. It's just like all these different things that would just made that class. I felt so unmotivated and I didn't understand a single thing. And I've been trying to catch up for like 2 weeks now. And to be honest, like for the first time, I think I had like an academic mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Like was it last night? Last night.
Yeah.
Last night. And I was crying, and I don't really cry. I was crying out of stress and just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I want to do it. I feel like I'm so behind now. Like, we're on a whole different chapter. I missed 2 tests. How am I supposed to study for 2 tests? I have to take them this week, and I have tests in all these other classes, and I don't want to like be a bad student. Like, that's so unlike me. And my dad was like, just drop the class. And I was like,
which to us is like,
I was like, are you,
that's not an
yeah.
option.
I was like, are you joking? Like, drop the class? Who do you think I am? I'm not a quitter. Like, what do you mean? Like, Dad, I'm gonna be fine. I'm not gonna. He was like, just drop the class. And I was like, Dad, like no, like why would I ever drop a class? And he was like, Rachel, you have to prioritize your mental health.
We put so much weight on like our extracurriculars, our academics, like things that we have to get done, in quotes, when realistically sometimes you can put a little bit of that aside, which is something I'm still learning and getting accustomed to, but you can put some of that aside in order to prioritize your mental health, your sleep, your physical health. I think those are the 3 most important things. Mental health, sleep, and physical health. Sleep and physical health kind of go hand in hand, but so important, more important than anything that you have to get done.
Bro, it's literally scientific. If you have poor mental health and you're barely getting any sleep because you're taking like 5 extra classes, you're not going to perform well in those classes. So what's the point of taking those classes? It's quality over quantity. I would rather take the normal amount of classes and get straight A's in all of them than take extra classes and like barely get by because I'm putting so much on my plate. I want to actually show up to class energized and excited to learn instead of stress about the a million other things that I have to do. Especially senior year, it's ironic because everyone makes jokes about how like senior year, like, oh, I'm taking senioritis, I'm taking all the easiest classes. And this year, for some reason,
it's not at all what we did.
we like completely stacked our plates senior year, and we're just like, final year, we're gonna push ourselves, which is okay because we're pretty high achievers, but it's also like you have to know when too much is too much.
And this is something that actually currently, literally just today, I've been struggling with. But if you have activities or a school, like a class, or just something going on in your life that you feel like, oh no, this gives me value, I have to do this thing, this is what I've been doing for so long, this is what I have to do, it's okay to drop it. You're still valuable if you do that. If you're in a million, like Rachel and I, for example, a million clubs, sports, classes, nonprofit, and then living your life normally too, with like a social life and like having time to yourself for independence and everything, then you're stacked to the brim. And I think Rachel and I, we do get some self-worth by the amount of things that we accomplish in our lives. But I think you're still going to have self-worth if you drop 1, 2 of those things. You'll be okay. And why do you want to live that way? Like, why do you want to live tired, unhappy, unrested, poor mental health, but accomplishing so many things when you could just accomplish like a little bit less, still have a lot going on, still have a very fulfilling and valuable life, but be well rested, be happy, have a positive mindset, be like energized and ready to go with the day. Feeling more able to get things done. Like Rachel said, quality over quantity. You're still worthy if you don't do as many things as you had set out to do originally.
And you know what? It's good to set our goals extremely high, because Olivia said this in a past episode where if you set your goals so high, just even getting close to that is so impressive.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like surpass your goals in order to be proud of yourself. You can get close to it and be like, wow, I did a really good job.
Yeah, I truly believe that a goal is to give you growth. It's not like, oh, I have to meet this goal. Like you set out like, oh, I'm going to become president of this club. Just a hypothetical goal. If you don't become president, that's okay. At least here's some positives. I like to take positives if you don't meet your exact goal that you set for yourself, which is really hard to do and not going to happen most of the time. But you set out to become president of a club. You weren't able to do it. Some positives, you pushed yourself to run for president of the club. You pushed yourself socially to get out there and maybe campaign. Maybe you even still got a board position on that club, whether or not you got president. I think that there's so many positives to come from even just getting a little bit closer to your goal because you pushed yourself and you grew a little more. That's the point.
Also, I don't know if you believe like everything happens for a reason.
I do.
I wholeheartedly believe that. And guys, in my life, it has been proven time and time again, when one door closes, another one flings open. Like,
absolutely,
so many opportunities. And the things we're preaching to you, I promise we preach to little kids too. Like in our presentations, we let them know, like, guys,
I
like,
think what we say works for little kids.
Yeah, we need the reminders.
Yeah,
we need the reminders. Just because we're grown doesn't mean we
think we're like done with those reminders.
No.
We think we've like surpassed it. It still matters. You just don't have your parents like breathing down your neck and reminding you all the time and still like teaching you those values, but you still need those values to carry with you.
Yeah, so what we're trying to say is that just because you didn't achieve this goal, or you didn't make the soccer team, or you didn't have this, like, opportunity, something else will come. It simply wasn't meant for you. We promise other opportunities will come. Better opportunities will come. I have so many insane stories, like, I wish I could share, but I'll just give one of, like, I was forced to quit an internship this summer.
Just thinking about that.
I was forced to quit an internship this summer because it was a 40-minute drive and my dad just wasn't comfortable. And I was so upset because I had placed so much of my self-worth on working all year to get that internship.
Yeah.
The title of just like working at this prestigious hospital.
There's extra like self-worth and value that you placed into something, especially like the longer you've worked towards it.
And 100%. I had placed so much value on it, and my dad just decided, I had no say in it, that I had to quit. And 2 weeks later, I got my dream internship. So it's so weird how the world works, but if you don't give up and if you keep an open mind, when one door closes, another one will open, guys. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's so okay. And it's all of this to say that my dad, as I was saying earlier, my dad was like, Rachel, you should just drop the class. And I was like, Dad, no, you don't understand. I need to prove myself. I need to prove that I'm this perfect student so I can get into my dream college. And he's like, do you realize how... He used a word that really shocked me. He basically said, like, do you know how vain that sounds? Like, who are you trying to prove yourself to? You don't need to prove yourself. Like, you are a good student. You've worked hard your entire life. You don't need to make yourself go insane just to prove that you're a good student. I've always said for years now, I've thought about if I pass away, or if I'm like 80 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And at my funeral, people are talking about me. What is one thing I want to be remembered for?
That's good.
It has never been my intelligence. It has never been like, she was so smart. I don't want people to say that.
Yeah.
I want people to say she was nice.
She was so kind.
She was so kind.
Loving. She was there for me when I needed her.
That's what I place value on. Yeah. How I treat other people. And
100%.
It sucks that as a society, I've always wanted to vent about this, so it's so cool that I can say this on a podcast. I hate that as our society, we place the most importance on two things: beauty and intelligence. Because those are the two things we can't control. You know what we can control? We can control our hearts, and we can control our love and how kind we are to people, and how hardworking we are.
And growth.
But our society places importance on if you're born with beauty and brain. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, that's not something that you can really, like, unless you have a lot of money.
I was about to say.
That's not really something you can change. And even with money, like, people can pay for tutors for their kids. Some people don't have that access.
Yeah.
So money does really make the world go round, but I hate that as a society we place so much emphasis on things that we can't control instead of just, how is your heart? How is your soul? Are you nice to other people? Are you kind? Yeah.
And you know what I think deserves your self-worth is not what grade did I get on this? What did I achieve today? How am I looking today? Like you said, none of that matters. It's about, did I grow? From when I did this thing last time, did I do it in a more elevated way this time? Right? Like, last time I interacted with this person, even though they annoy me, this is an example, but even though they annoy me, I should have been kinder, and I think I was a little irritated with them. And then next time, you can be a little kinder, right? A little less irritated. Push that aside. I think that's where your value should be at. Did I grow and did I become a better person? Did I give more love? Did I give more of my heart? That's where the importance should lie.
Definitely don't think that we're not telling you to be hardworking and academically inclined, though. Yeah. If that's something that, like, you can envision yourself that you know you would do good in college, you know that you're that academically inclined student who is really good at school and likes to push themselves, go for it. Go for it completely. Olivia and I
said, that does give you value, because it's not, oh, what grade did I get? It's, I got an 80 last time and this time I got a 90. I pushed myself and I went further.
Exactly.
It's just, you don't have to push yourself further in an academic way. But you can if that's what you have the passion for, do push yourself in the academic way. But if you have a passion for something else, that's okay. If it's not academics, that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. But definitely set high standards for yourself. Don't get lazy in school. Don't just, like, give up when it gets hard. That's okay. That's how you can be successful academically. You have to push yourself. You have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. We take classes that aren't easy, not because we think that we'll just, like, get by in them. We know we're pushing ourselves. We know we're becoming better students. But at the end of the day, it should never get to a point where you're having frequent panic attacks and anxiety attacks and mental breakdowns over school. You have to know when enough is enough and be able to prioritize your mental health and your physical health.
Yeah, and I think there's kind of like a juxtaposition here, because earlier Rachel and I were saying it's okay if you want to drop out of something and relieve your schedule a little bit, and then now we're saying push yourself and don't give up, right? So they are kind of opposites, but I think a lot of life is finding a balance and finding the line that's like the perfect in between, right? So I know that that's incredibly difficult, but it's just about, like I said before, your goal could be to find that line, but just get a little closer today, right? Of not pushing yourself till you're overboard, but pushing yourself to where you know you can handle it and still have good mental health, less stress, right? I think it's just a hard balance to find.
And to wrap up my insanely long story that is almost 30 minutes now, ultimately, after talking to my dad, he gave me a lot of comfort, and he made me realize, you know what? It's okay. It's not the end of the world to drop this class. And like I said, like we were just saying, is you need to find a balance between like being able to push yourself and having like good mental health, because I didn't just completely drop the class. What I decided to do is I'm going to take the class in a couple of months, and this way I can have a new clean slate, fresh start, and go at it correctly and not fall behind, because hopefully I won't get sick again. But this way I'm not putting too much pressure on myself and too much on my plate. I know I can have a fresh start in a few months and still push myself, but not to the point where my mental health is compromised. Because guys, this life is so short. Take care of your brain and your body, please. Get good sleep. Don't stay up until 3 a.m. trying to cram an assignment. Develop good study habits, but also take care of yourself physically and mentally, because when you do, it shines through your work. When you go to school sleep deprived, you perform so much poorer than when you do go energized. You perform so much better. You can be more present in your classes. You're not horribly embarrassed because you're falling asleep in class. Listen, we're human, okay? We're tired, we're exhausted. We're high school seniors, dude. Like, we're almost at the end of the finish line, but all I'm trying to say is take care of your brain, y'all. Get good sleep. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, but also don't get lazy. Don't give in. Don't give up. It's the final stretch. If you're here with us, seniors, don't give up now. Continue these good habits, and you're going to do amazing. Wherever you end up, you're meant to be. You're going to do amazing. Don't put too much pressure about college admissions, because like we said, we believe everything happens for a reason. Wherever you go, you will excel and you will shine, and that's your place. That's where you're meant to be. We wish you the best, and we hope everything goes amazing with your future, no matter what it is. If it's trade school, if you decide you don't want to go to college, or if you do want to go to college, whatever you pursue, we believe in you.
And we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.